So going into next week, I'll be anticipating a further push to the upside. If price continues higher, then 99.134 will be my weekly target. Welcome back, guys. You can see how price continued higher from that trend line as analyzed last week. Now going into next week, what do we expect? Price, if you look at the week of this weekly candlestick at the top, looks like price has come into these body areas of this candlestick, has it? Okay, so I'll still be expecting a little push to the upside before we either pull back to the downside or break above and continue higher. So we are going to take that one step at a time. I actually don't trade DXY, so I don't have much to say on DXY right now. But next week, even if we're going to go bearish, I'm anticipating an initial bullish push before that happens. All right, so now that we've seen what is happening on DXY, and since DXY measures the strength or weakness of the US dollar, so let's look at what happens on the other pairs. But before we do that, let's talk about today's sponsor. Make headway with Headway Brokers today by capitalizing on their 75% deposit bonus. How cool is that? That's massive, right? So whatever you deposit, you're going to get an extra 75% to supercharge your trading, right? We know that the more money you have, the more profits you make. That's what trading is all about. It's not about trading your $10, $5. That's not going to give you the life you're looking for, right? So whatever you deposit, Headway is willing to help you make headway in your trading by supercharging your deposit by offering you a 75% deposit bonus. That's one of the biggest in the industry. So MT4, not a question. MT5, not a question. They are all available. And guess what? They have a cents account. If you don't have enough money right now, you can open a cents account, deposit a few cents and start trading. There's also the standard account, and then there's the pro account. How about their spread, their commissions, and all of those things? Super small, one of the competitive in the industry. As a matter of fact, Headway has every features a good broker should have. So to enjoy this 75% bonus, make sure you use the link in the pinned comments of this video down below to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. So welcome back, guys, to the analysis. Now the next on our list is GBPUSD. Now going into next week, if DXY continues higher, I would like to see GBPUSD come into 1.34148. Welcome back, guys. You can see how price finally came into the 1.34148 area and the 1.33843 area. Now what happens next, right? Because price is already there. So what happens next? We could either bounce off and trade higher, or break below and trade into these lower areas here. Let me even put a line there. So between this area of 1.31060 and 1.30408. All right, so let's go to the 4-hour time frame so that we can take better advantage of this potential push to the upside or drop to the downside. So if price is committed to bounce off this current support level that price has traded into, I'm just going to make it simple. I'm going to put a zone around here. Good. So I've boxed in price. So what happens if price is committed to going higher? I would advise you should be patient for price to create a new higher high above 1.34591 area. Then you want to catch it on the pullback. Your stop loss below 1.34479. Then your bullish target should be back up here, which is 1.35590 and 1.35803. All right, that's my bullish target. But if price continues lower, I would recommend you wait for price to break below 1.33843 area. You want to catch it on the pullback. Stop loss above 1.34148. Then you want to trade all the way down into 1.31057. That's a massive drop if that happens. A massive drop. All right, about 277 pips to the downside. All right, so if price goes up, we know what to do, and if price goes down, we know what to do. So that is that on GBPUSD. The next on my list is EURUSD. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, I strongly believe that price is coming into the 1.16302 area and the 1.15937 area. So let's see how that play out. If we go for a deeper pullback, then this is where I like it's like the first pullback is even complete. The first pullback is complete on this 4-hour time frame. So price may just sell off from there. Welcome back, guys. So you can see how price dropped from that zone into our target from last week, right? So now price, just like GBPUSD, is trading at our target. So what happens next? Are we going to trade to the upside? Are we going to trade to the downside? Only time will tell. But if we want to take advantage of this, I'll do exactly what I did on GBPUSD. I'm going to plot a zone around here. All right. So my two lines are, my zone is above 1.16577 and 1.16417. So if price breaks above 1.16577, I'm going to wait for a pullback and then you continue trading to the upside. All right, targets will be, bullish targets will be around this obvious high point here. All right, which is 1.18081. How about if price continues lower? Now, if price continues lower, then it has to clear this support level, break below 1.15937 area. You want to catch it on the pullback and then trade into the short sell target here, which is 1.15233. All right. You can use either that area as your target or this lower area here of 1.14497. All right. So it depends on what your preference is. So I've given the bullish and bearish scenario on EURUSD. The next on my list is USDJPY. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So if price continues higher and breaks out of that weekly zone, which the uppermost part of that weekly zone is 147.935. So if price breaks out of it, we want to catch it on the pullback and continue trading to the upside and capitalize on this 160 pip move to the upside. Welcome back, guys. So USDJPY, you can clearly see what happened. Price broke out, came back for a pullback, and then took off again. All right, so price is coming super close to our 166.5 pips target to the upside. All right, if you want a detailed analysis on this USDJPY, just go back to last week's video. But for those that has been watching, you know what is happening here. So I want to see a continuous push after this retest to the upside, and you already know that our target, our bullish target, is 149.614. How about if price just drops down? Let's say DXY drops from where it is, or JPY becomes strong next week. Then I'll just want to show you where to sell. Right, so wait for price, don't sell from the top here, because above this 147.935 area, I'm super bullish. I'm not a seller, right, until price breaks below 147.585. Now, if that happens, we must have seen a change in market structure. That means we have a new lower low, right? Then I want to see a pull back into that zone, stop loss above 147.935. Then bearish target is going to be these areas of 146.113 and 145.729. All right, so those are my bullish and bearish scenarios. For now, I am more bullish than bearish. All right, so that the next on my list is GBPJPY. So GBPJPY didn't give us an entry throughout last week. It's been moving sideways, so I'm still going to improvise going into next week, right? I'm just going to put, I know that I have a lot of zones on my chart, but I'm doing this because I want you to be able to map out the zones on your own also. All right, so I'll put this zone here, then I'll put another one below. So with these lines up, I'm either going to buy above or sell below. All right, why? Because this middle zone here, if you, let me just show you, let's go to the weekly time frame. You see that middle zone, it is a weekly resistance, or let me put it this way, was a weekly resistance. Look at it closely. Let me zoom in properly, right? You can see rejections there previously, rejection previously, another one previously. This is the first time in a long time that price is breaking and closing above the 199.374 area on the weekly time frame. Can you see the close on this candlestick? So that could mean that price has finally conquered that resistance. All right, or that could be a fake out also. Anything is possible. So that is why you see that if I go back to the 4-hour time frame, that middle zone is a weekly zone, right? So if price is above it, I'll use it as an area of support. If price is below it, I'll see it as an area of resistance. You get the idea. So that's why I have this 4-hour zone above and this 4-hour zone below. So what happens if price bounces off that weekly zone properly to the upside? I'll catch it on the pullback around 199.781 and 199.554 area. Stop loss below 199.554. I'll trade all the way to the upside with 206.092 as my target. But if price continues lower, that means it must have broken below the support area where it's trading at now. That means we'll use it as an area of resistance, right? So when price breaks below, we now have a new lower low around here. Then we'll catch it on the pullback. Stop loss above 198.452. Then bearish targets will be 195.621. All right. So the next on my list is, and the last for this week, is gold. So on the 4-hour time frame, price could go down, price could go up. But if price is to fall off, you have to be careful. All right. Don't just sell. Wait for a change in market structure on this 4-hour time frame, just like I did on USDJPY 1, 2, 3. For those on the mentorship program, you know how I use market structure. I have some free content on market structure also on this channel. You can go search them out. I think some of the videos are in the description of this video down below. So when this happens, you want to now catch it on the pullback, right? After the change in market structure, catch it on the pullback. Then this is where you want to look for your confirmation, stop loss above. Then you go for, I love 2-to-1s. You can use here as your target, but price has to progress next week for this to happen. Welcome back, guys. So you can see what gold did, right? It created a low, a lower high, and a new lower low. Can you see the pullback into those areas? Then, though it didn't sell massively as we would have loved to, because obviously on this 4-hour time frame, you can see that gold is ranging. All right, there's nothing you and I can do about it. Gold is ranging. So even though the analysis wanted to see price drop into here last week, that didn't happen. But if you're a 2-to-1 fan like me, you would have made your money to the downside here even before price pulled back up. Now going into next week on gold, I'm going to do the same thing I did on GBPJPY, right? I'm going to put a zone above here, another zone above here. Okay, so I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to put a line at the top. Just follow my lines. Ignore the multiple zones I have. I'm doing it for this analysis. If not, when I look at the market, I know exactly what I'm looking for. All right. So if price continues higher, that means I'd like to see price break above 3,368.141. Then catch it on the pullback before we continue trading to the upside. Remember, my bullish target on gold remains 3,440.689. All right. And if price is going to continue lower into this our target from last week, then price still has to evolve. Wait for a change in market structure, right? Something that would look like this, like this, like this. All right. You understand? Wait for a change in market structure. I believe most of us know what I mean. All right, so wait for a change in market structure, then get in. Price has to progress for that to happen, just like last week. All right, so my bearish target remains 3,264.176. Thanks for staying to the end of this video. If you want to be a participant, if you want to participate in our next mentorship, is coming up on the 4th of August. It's an 8-week program. We have limited space available. Come and enroll and take your trading to the next level. All right. And that said, I wish you a successful trading week, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.